Bringing you the very latest from here at home and across the world from the Newsfirst studios in Colombo. This is Primetime News live on Newsfirst. A very good evening. I'm Mahina Bongzo.
And I'm Shahin Jurong Party.
Israel and Palestine have resumed direct talks for the first time in 3 years.
The Newsfirst international desk has been monitoring the situation and will have a detailed report on this story later on in the news bulletin.
But before that, let's start off with a look at your headlines.
No issue concerning the victors of the Northern Provincial Council polls. President reiterates at a meeting with heads of media institutions. Hunger strike by a monk in Ratapaswala demanding a solution to the drinking water issue continues. CPC investigates another stock of petrol believed to be of low quality. Pope Francis considers a visit to Sri Lanka, a formal invitation required. The one-year ban handed down to sprinter Himanshu Heshan reduced to 9 months.
Elections would be held for 3 provincial councils. 8 registered political parties submitted their nominations today for 9 districts for the upcoming elections for the Central, Northern and Northwestern provincial councils. The Elections Secretariat said that 11 independent groups submitted nominations for 6 districts. The People's Welfare Front or Janasatha Peramuna, the Eksat Lanka Mahasabhava, the Sri Lanka Labour Party and the Sri Lanka Muslim Congress submitted their nominations today. The Socialist Equality Party, the Ethnic Unity Organisation and Ape Jatika Peramuna parties also submitted their nominations today. 25 independent groups contesting elections in 9 districts deposited their bonds today.
The United People's Freedom Alliance says that the signing of about 90% of nomination papers has been completed. Minister Dala Salah Perumal said the UPFA's nominations for all districts where elections will be held will be submitted over the next 2 days. Meanwhile, Propaganda Secretary of the Janatha Vimukti Peramuna, MP Vijitha Herath, said that the JVP General Secretary signed the nomination papers of the JVP's candidates today. Meanwhile, as of this afternoon, 2 registered political parties and 2 independent groups had submitted their nominations for the Kandy district for the Central Provincial Council election. Nominations for the Janasatha Peramuna were submitted by party leader Venerable Battaramulle Sila Ratanathera. The leader of the Sri Lanka Labour Party, N. Senanayaka, submitted the party's nominations for the Kandy district today. The Janasatha Peramuna also submitted its nominations for the Matale and Nuwara districts today.
Matale, Nuwara,
We submitted our nominations for Matale and Nuwara today. In truth, there are Tamils, Muslims and Sinhalese living in this area. But in this area, the Minister of the Tamil people has failed to resolve their problems.
Damila Ministungi Prasne, Adala Amateria, Karladilane.
The Sri Lanka Labour Party and the Eksat Lanka Mahasabhava submitted their nominations for the Kurunegala district today. The Citizens Front, the Upcountry People's Front, the United Workers' Union and the Democratic Workers' Congress are to contest the Central Provincial Council election as a coalition. The Citizens Front has put forward 6 candidates, one of them a Muslim. The candidates' nomination papers were signed today before the General Secretary of the Citizens Front, MP J. Sri Ranga, and the political leader of the Upcountry People's Front, Radha Krishnan, following religious observances held in Hatton today. The Election Secretariat noted that the deadline for independent groups to deposit their bonds for upcoming provincial council polls expires at noon tomorrow. The deadline for the submission of nominations expires at noon on the 1st of August.
The Tamil National Alliance says that pressure exerted by the international community factored in the decision to hold elections for the Northern Provincial Council. TNA Parliamentary Group leader R. Sambandhan expressed this view at a media briefing held in Jaffna yesterday.
The people must have the right to freely exercise their franchise. We cannot allow for them to be deprived of this right. At previous provincial council elections, we saw how thousands of identification cards of voters and their ballot papers were taken away from them. The people must have the right to vote free of such incidents and threats. This is essential. No one can obstruct this right. Pressure exerted by the international community too has indirectly affected the decision to hold elections. Therefore, this election must be held properly. The right of the people of the Northern Province to democratically use their vote to elect their representatives must be affirmed. The TNA's chief ministerial candidate for the Northern Provincial Council, former Supreme Court Justice C.V. Vigneswaran, was also present at this media briefing. The government and foreign nations said recently that armed groups used their power to rule this region in the past. This time we will bring forth a government elected by the people in the north. Therefore the whole world will listen. This government too will listen.
President Mahinda Rajapaksa says that there will be no issue concerning the victors of the Northern Provincial Council polls. President Rajapaksa pointed out that the government possesses the strength to encounter any problem that may arise. The president made these remarks in response to a question that was posed to him on whether the appointment of a chief minister from the Tamil National Alliance would pose problems given the prevailing crisis surrounding the 13th Amendment to the Constitution at a meeting with the heads of news divisions of print and electronic media. The president added during the meeting that constitutionally the presidency has been vested with the final say on police and land powers. The president also noted that the decision on who would be appointed chief minister of the Northwestern Province had been left to the people of the province. Whilst noting that the prevailing system is to grant the position of chief minister to the candidate who polls the highest number of preferential votes, the president pointed out that the candidate must have proven leadership qualities.
At a media briefing today, the Janata Vimukti Peramuna said that it is evident that people like Dayasri Jayasekara are bankrupt within the government.
වයිබ මැතිවරණේ ප්‍රධාන මාතෘකාව බවට පත් කරගෙන තියෙනවා.
The arrival of Dayasri has become the main topic of the Northwestern Provincial Council elections. Because the government is bankrupt and has no candidate to appoint to this group, they took an MP from the United National Party and are contesting the Northern Provincial Council elections. The government is exhibiting its bankruptcy and its cheap trumps. The Prime Minister's son is contesting from the Kandy district. Sons, wives, brothers-in-laws and sons-in-laws of cabinet ministers have all signed nomination papers. There was a huge protest in the country against the granting of a nomination for the provincial councillor who made a teacher kneel. There was massive protest from the people, and in the end this provincial councillor was stuck after the court decision to imprison him. So instead of giving the nomination to him, the government has committed the equal act of giving the nomination to his son-in-law. The policy of maintaining the family and nourishing the family has today spread from the level of ministers and senior ministers to provincial council ministers and councillors.
පවුල නඩත්තු කිරීම නැත්නම් පවුල් පෝෂණය කියන එක දැන් බිම් මට්ටම දක්වා ඇමතිවරු ජ්‍යෙෂ්ඨ ඇමතිවරු එතනින් එහාට ගිහිල්ලා පළාත් සභා අමාත්‍යවරු മന്ത്രിවරු දක්වා ව්‍යාප්ත වෙලා තියෙනවා.
Meanwhile, Dayasri Jayasekara says that his political career cannot be destroyed through false allegations. He made this statement at the opening of a party office in Yantam Palawa, Kurunegala.
Dayasri Jayasekara left because of a number of problems. Therefore, I say engage in politics with Dayasri Jayasekara on dry land and not in the mud. My political career cannot be destroyed through false allegations. From the 21st of next month, I am prepared to join with the councillors and ministers of the Northwestern Province and implement the Pivida Navayamba program to revive the province.
Speaking at a rally held at the Amunudahaya Purana Vihare in Tissamaharama recently, parliamentarian Sajid Premadasa expressed the following views.
Dayasri Jayasekara was facing a myriad of problems. I am not denying that. There were numerous problems, but I am not going to justify his immigration and immigration based on these problems. In truth, if that is the case, then I should be the first to swap sides. The elected deputy leader of the United National Party. I was not appointed by various persons. What has happened to me today? I cannot even participate in the committee selecting candidates for the coming provincial council polls. But if we have self-esteem, if we have spines, then we must take the correct decisions. I will not change my policies just because I take a hit.
අපි නිවැරදි තීන්දුව ගන්නට ඕන. ගැහුවයි කියලා මම මගේ ප්‍රතිපත්ති වෙනස් කරන්නේ.
Well, born in 1890, Charles de Gaulle was a former French general and statesman who led the Free French Force during World War II. He later founded the French Fifth Republic in 1958 and served as its first president. Tonight, we bring you the words of Charles de Gaulle on our segment Words of Wisdom.
The leader must aim high, see big, judge widely, thus setting himself apart from the ordinary people who debate in narrow confines. Charles de Gaulle, 1890 to 1970.